is popping? YouTube. Turbo Mo back at you with another video. Oh yeah. Take a look at the ST. It's about time I jumped back on camera and started talking, man. All right, so if you don't know me, my name is Turbo Mo. I own this 2016 Ford Focus ST big turbo, and I'm glad that I'm back on video, man. I'm back on camera with it, baby. And I got a coffee. All right, so what do I want to talk about in this video? I have some topics here that I have written down in my notes on my phone. I'm gonna get into it. The topic of this video that I'm currently creating is why I'm currently unemployed. I am currently an unemployed auto tech. Going on 3 weeks being unemployed at the moment, which is a blessing, mostly a blessing, honestly. I gotta say, like, if you don't know this about me, I have been an auto tech for about 7 going on 8 years now. My first internship at a shop as a technician was in the winter of 2017 going into 2018. I then did an internship through the Ford Asset Program, to be more specific, the summer of 2018 and the winter of 2018, and graduated in the spring of 2019. So that was a 2-year associate's degree, but basically I'm a fully certified technician, and I'm not a rookie, you know what I mean? I've been at 2 dealerships, and I was only at this dealership that I just walked out of for a year. I really appreciate all the experiences that the dealership industry has gotten me. I do take my profession very seriously. As you can see, working on cars is a passion of mine, and I do want to share it with the world. So, flat rate technicians get paid, essentially it is a commission. You get paid per the job. So for instance, if I'm doing an oil change on a vehicle, they sell like works packages, for instance, is what Ford does. And a works package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation, will pay 7/10 of an hour. If I do the job in under 7/10 of an hour, I beat the book time, which is good. That means that I can move on to another job and still get paid my 7/10 of an hour. So if I do the job real time in 5/10 of an hour, I beat the time by 2/10 of an hour, which is time that I'm getting paid to then go move on to another job. So you can beat time, and that is really the appeal that the dealerships try to sell to the technician when they're coming into the industry, is that, well, we got so much work, and if you're a hard worker, you should have no issue making your commission work for you and get your 40 hours at the end of the week, right? It is an incentive that the dealerships offer to the technicians to keep them working and keep them motivated, right? And I don't blame them, right? I always see both sides of the coin when it comes to business. And the more that you gain skills in the industry, the more your skills become marketable, and the more you realize that, the more valuable you become, essentially. But the only thing about this industry is that you have to be your own representative. And so that's the way that flat rate pays you. It's a commission on the job, right? Now, you can beat the time just like you can lose on the time. Say I'm doing the works package, right, which pays 7/10 of an hour. If I do that works package in an hour, which is 10/10 of an hour, it's a full hour instead of 7/10 of an hour, I've just lost on that job by 3/10 of an hour, essentially. So you see how you can win and you can lose when it comes to being paid flat rate. Excuse me, if the customer has a warranty on the vehicle, such as a powertrain warranty, for instance, you are essentially going to do the job and get paid by warranty. And warranty companies set their own times. So that's going to arise another issue, which I will talk about later, but that is also an aspect of being a flat rate technician that you have to factor in. When you're a flat rate technician, you can't just focus on, okay, you have to sell your own work as well. You know what I mean? and it's very convoluted. It's hard to explain to people who haven't been in this life, in this industry, you know what I mean? But this is why I think it's my duty as a technician who's going through it to really bring awareness, because I'm noticing a lot of flaws in the system that I think that if nobody takes the initiative, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And we are seeing a lot of technicians like me moving out of the industry because pay sucks, there's no incentive. Larger the corporation, the more it's likely that the corporate side of things is not running as fluidly as you would like to at the bottom, and shit rolls downhill is what we always say in this industry. Now, anything that I'm about to talk about is nothing that everybody in the shop that I worked at previously didn't know was an issue and that we hadn't talked about amongst ourselves in the shop as technicians. Now, that being said, warranty, you have your warranty pay, right? So the warranty companies will set their own times, which warranty companies are notorious for having ridiculously low times relevant to the amount of labor that you have to put in to fix some of these newer vehicles. Robbery is the only way to explain it, frankly. And you can talk to any technician, especially a Ford technician, and you'll know. You can get paid warranty time, which you have to be very vigilant about whether customers have warranty on whatever you're fixing, of course, right? So as a technician, you have to pay attention to that aspect of getting paid, as well as you could sell the job cash if the customer doesn't have any warranty and still wants to fix their vehicle after you've diagnosed what's the issue. So say a customer comes in with like an F-150, for instance, and it's got an engine issue that's catastrophic. Maybe they bent a valve or something like that, right? So they want to buy a brand new engine. They're going to get a crate engine for us, right? So they're going to buy their own part because it's not covered under warranty. And then they're going to pay the cash labor that we sell it for. So that's when the technicians really get to dictate how much money they make, is when a cash job comes in. Because the warranty companies, like I said, set their own times, and we pretty much just have to bite the bullet as technicians when it's warranty. But a cash job comes in, we set the time. So now, if this job was warranty, maybe it pays 10 hours to replace the engine, whereas now it's a cash engine. We sell it for a more appropriate time that we can actually make a living off of, something like 15 to 17 hours, maybe an F-150 or something like that, right? So that's all off the dome. Those are all just for the points interest, right? I'm just giving you hypotheticals, essentially, to give you the picture of how you have to play the game of being a flat rate technician if you don't know this, right? So this arises difficulty. People who aren't in the industry have to know about the industry to really understand why there's so much grief coming from technicians in the industry, and why I think that this is not just happening in this industry alone, it's happening in other blue-collar industries as well. But I can only speak from my perspective. So sticking to topic, so that's briefly how flat rate techs get paid. Now, I already went through my professional history. Like I said, I did 2 years in school where I was doing a internship on my brakes at this dealership that I started out in the industry with, and then I worked full-time, partially on hourly, and then I moved to flat rate eventually for my last 2 to 3 years at that dealership. Then I moved to a different dealership just because I felt like there wasn't room for me to grow there. And I don't want to go into too much detail there. There wasn't really much I felt like I could do except for move. Also, I moved for better facilities, more specifically facilities with air conditioning, more updated shop essentially. And I moved to a new dealership for a year, which was this past year. And I have been since unemployed for 3 weeks now, after I walked out on Friday at the end of September. So I'm going on 3 weeks being unemployed at the moment, which is a blessing, mostly a blessing, honestly. I gotta say, like, I've been getting like consistently 12 hours of sleep. I've been getting a lot of work done, readjusting my focus essentially on a lot of the things that I spend my time on, chilling with friends. Bro, I can't lie to you, it's been great. Now, I'm glad that I have a father to fall back on, but we're not gonna get into that again. I do digress, and I wanna get back to the topic of the video, but that's just where my mind state's at. to give you a reference, a frame of reference where my mind state is at right now, being an unemployed technician. Now, the bigger issue at hand, remember the topic is why I'm currently unemployed as an auto tech, why I am a currently unemployed auto technician. So the topic is why I am a currently unemployed auto technician and why I am reluctant to go back to the dealership for employment or go back to a dealership in general as an auto tech. So these issues, right, stem partially from the way that we get paid. Now, I've had really great years as a flat rate technician, don't get me wrong. I think the biggest issue is that there's a huge disconnect between the corporate side of these dealerships and the technicians. The corporate side doesn't seem willing to listen to the technician enough, especially when it comes to dictating what kind of business is coming through the door and how much we should get paid labor rate wise for that, or labor wise for that, how much time we should get paid for the job, essentially. There's not enough incentive to complete these jobs. Now, I will tell you and go more into depth for better reference for you, why I left the last dealership and what led up to this. And I think a lot of people will relate to what I have to say. So, the disconnect between the blue-collar workers and the corporate side of these dealerships is way too vast. And I think we see this in society as a whole, but it's happening especially in dealerships. And the technician is not being heard, appreciated, respected enough, or compensated enough, which is a huge issue. And it's not hard to see. Now, I think there are some people who have been able, I think the older generations, like I think a generation older than me, essentially, the people who have been a technician for a generation older, if they have that knowledge, they're probably in the prime of their career and maybe can't relate to what I'm saying. But coming up as a technician is very difficult, especially if there's a more corporate side of things. It's just gotten harder all around to work on vehicles. It's not like you're a grease monkey anymore. I know that a lot of technicians say it, and I know it needs to be said even more. Technicians do everything. HVAC, plumbing, electrician, mechanical work, machining, welding, you name it. If you're a mechanic, you're a jack of all trades, 100% this year. You do computer work, programming. You have to know how computers function nowadays to be able to make money as a mechanic. So it has no doubt gotten more difficult. Now, the compensation, I think, has not even been close to following that. If you looked at it on a graph, it's pretty much flatlined. Like, you hear stories of the glory days from these old heads sometimes, talking about how they would be able to sell a valve adjustment and a 30,000 mile service on a vehicle within the first 2 hours of the day, get it done within another hour, and then you would have 8 hours for your day and you'd just go home early, you know what I mean? It's not like that anymore. The golden ages of being an auto mechanic has been well over, you know what I mean? Now, I don't want this to be like a sob story, you know what I mean? I'm doing my part right now to make sure that I don't end up in this predicament again in the future. And I'm very blessed to have a cushion to fall back on in these hard times, but I'm very optimistic that I have a lot of opportunity to really make I do want to venture into making or creating a business, essentially. And I believe I will do that. Now, without going on a tangent, again, I'm trying to stick to topic here. This is all that I will get into in other videos. So, brief explanation of how things got here at the new shop. I ended up leaving my first shop at the end of September 2023, and we are in September 2024. We're October 2024 right now, beginning of October. So it's been about a year since I moved from my first dealership to my second dealership, and I moved, like I said, because of better facilities. They were offering me a better pay rate. I felt like I needed to grow, and I felt like my first dealership had nothing to offer me at the time, but I felt like it was time to make a change. So I moved to a different dealership. They were paying me a pretty handsome hourly rate. Of course, I was full flat rate, so I didn't negotiate a guarantee. But they had promised me things like there would be diesel work. They had promised me things like they were trying to only have me work one Saturday a month when I got there, right? Which I was working 2 Saturdays a month at the old place. They were promising me diesel work. They had given me a higher hourly rate, so I'm gonna be making more money per hour that I worked, right? They were saying, yeah, we got business coming in. I'm gonna have to get deals with this and this. We're about to go get deals here and there, and we're bringing work in. We're trying to build a program. I'm like, all right, let's go. Showed them my credentials. Everything was set. So started that September 2023. And the facility is great. I'm getting along with everybody in the shop. I get along with everybody at corporate, everybody in sales. It's a really good vibe. Whatever, right? I always get along with everybody, so it really wasn't like a worry to me. I just want to make money. That's my bottom line, always. Because that's why I wake up in the morning, is to go get money, you know what I mean? I don't come to work just to not fuck, or just to fuck around and dilly-dally and shit. Besides the point, right, I'm trudging along, I'm getting more experience, I'm working on 10R80s, I'm working on transmissions, rears, engine jobs. I'm selling out the ass because they had better, essentially CDK, which is the system that we use to sell work and log tickets and right to warranty, CDK is the program. And we had personal access to that, which was a change, which was an upgrade for me, since I had to manually write tickets or hand write tickets at my old shop. My new shop, I had my own computer on my box, and I would be able to type and actually interface with CDK by myself instead of having the writer do it. And they also had CDK Smart, so I could sell my own work. And they had a system where you would go around with your phone and take videos and sell work to the customer directly by sending them a video through this app, essentially, which was awesome. A really great experience. I took advantage of everything, all the tools that they gave me to sell my own work. But then they start making changes on the corporate side. So this dealership ended up moving the general manager who hired me to a different store. New general manager comes in, whatever, right? He doesn't seem as enthusiastic of a person, right? Now, the way he does his job is up to him. What I saw, I didn't like from him. And it's nothing personal completely, you know what I mean? Like I said, NDA, you know what I mean? I hope the man is doing well. I have nothing against him. But in terms of dictating how work was distributed in the shop and communication with the shop in general, I felt like he was not working up to the standards of a general manager in terms of what you have to do as a general manager, I feel like, to keep things running smoothly in the shop. You know what I mean? Not enough presence, in my opinion, to sum it all up. Now, time moves along, and the service manager, who's right under the general manager, but like essentially he's dedicated to overseeing everything that happens in the shop and customer relations to the work coming into the mechanic shop. That's what the job description of the service manager is. So I go on vacation a week in June, right? This is June at this point, so I've been working here for a majority 8 months. I hadn't made 40 in quite some time. The only thing that was keeping me around, I think, at this point was the fact that this service manager that I'm talking about was looking out for the technician. He was looking out for my hours, and he was very involved when it came to, okay, how many people are making 40 in the shop? Oh, all right, Mo's not making 40. All right, let's go talk to him, see what we can do to boost his hours, right? So he was very involved in that sense, which is what you should be doing as a service manager and a general manager, in my opinion, right? So that aside, this service manager, he's working with me, and my hours are pretty shitty. I'm pulling in like 20 hours consistently a week, which is shit. Like I'm there 40 plus hours a week. Me as a technician alone, you know what I mean? And that's just Monday through Friday. I'm there probably 50 hours real time a week, just because I'm trying to get the most money I can, but my hours are turning out 20 a week. I'm cranking out 20 hours a week, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. I should be making double the money that I'm making right now, and I'm still working 40 hours a week real-time labor. That's fucking ridiculous. That's robbery, you know what I mean? Now, that was with this service manager who was actually trying. I go on vacation in June for a week. I come back and I learn that this manager has been fired and rehired and moved to another dealership. So I'm like, okay. well, we got a new service manager, right? I'm just keeping my shit at my. So, I don't know what happened to the footage, but in terms of the context of this video, it is now February 23rd, 2025. When I started making that video, it was September of 2024. So that's, give or take, a month. That's been 5 months, you know. Now, I don't know if that really matters in terms of the context of this video, but somewhere along the way, I lost the footage of the end of the point that I was trying to make for this video, being I'm in a fucked up position. I'm not a big fan of my scenario right now. I'm not a big fan of my situation. Let me think here. So, how did I get here? Getting back to my train of thought, now that it's been a few months and I'm finishing up this video finally. I walked out of the dealership because they underpaid me on a transmission replacement on a 2010 2010's Honda Odyssey that they had sold the job for 10 hours on. This is a job that should be paying no less than 18 hours to replace this transmission, as you have to drop the whole subframe with most of the powertrain. So the subframe has to come down with the transmission and the engine for you to replace this transmission. And they had only sold the job for 10 hours because that's what warranty was willing to pay for the job to be done by us. Now, that was the last straw for me. So, after the stopwatch on my Apple Watch had showed that I had put in 10 hours of wrench time and the job was only half done, of course, I had put my tools away, and midday on a Friday in September, walked out of the dealership, walked off the dealership floor, walked out of the shop silently, and didn't show back up until the Thursday after that with a manila folder containing a document that had typed up my conditions of further employment at this dealership. Had a meeting with the general manager and the shop manager, the service manager. So the general manager of this dealership and the service manager, telling them my terms of further employment and why I felt it necessary to take such drastic measures to get my point across. One of the points being that I feel like it's disrespectful to shake somebody's hand saying thank you for the best month we've had yet, when you know that they're only pulling in 10 hours of labor, regardless of how they've spent 40 hours of real wrench time in the shop working for you to make that happen. And you don't even care, you know. It doesn't. I don't know if you know my hours as the general manager, even though you should know what my hours are looking like. And why aren't you siphoning me some of that money? And that's the big, issue that I have with the operation of these conglomerate dealerships is that, the CEOs, you never see them, or you see them riding around in their Porsches, and just extremely disconnected from what's actually happening in the shop, blatant negligence, in my opinion. Again, think about if you were in my position, which I know some of you have definitely been in my position. If you're watching this, you're probably a technician. If not, put yourself in my shoes. You've worked real 40 plus hours at this shop, and your paycheck only reflects that you've worked maybe 10 hours, maybe 20 hours on a consistent basis. Then your general manager every month or two is coming up and saying, "Thank you for the best month that we've had," shaking your hand on it. Tell me that wouldn't put a bad taste in your mouth, man. Right? Even me, it's been 5 months since I've worked there, and it's just fucking disgusting to me. You know, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for. This is probably gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of my life. You know, you know, I'm just kind of disappointed at this point. You know, I got a really bad taste in my mouth about the whole industry as a whole. I feel like I've just not gotten out of it what I've put in. Now, I mean, you know, God knows I don't even own all my possessions, you know, which is going to bring me into a new era of content creation. So, as I wrap up this video, you know, reflecting on the past year and a half, 2024, and as I'm going 2 months into 2025, you know, I've found employment at a small diesel shop since. I was unemployed for about a whole month, the whole month of September, where I was surviving. You know, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I'm still living under my father's roof, thank God, rent free. But I was surviving off of a credit card, and I have, throughout the totality of my career as an automotive technician, accrued $102,000 of debt as I sit here speaking to you today. Again, this is going to lead me into a new chapter of content creation, which you'll just have to stay tuned for. Yeah, I'm very, very dissatisfied with my current situation and how my life is going as a 26-year-old. And I do plan fully turning that around 180 fucking degrees, baby. That is all for this video. I'm going to close it out. It's been your boy Turbo Mo, signing off. I'll be back at you with another video, baby.